Tonight's Coaches Show with Franklin Regional Coach Greg Botta is presented by the Ground Round near the Westmoreland Mall in Greensburg. Whether it's specialty burgers and sandwiches, one-of-a-kind fajitas, or one of their homemade dinners, we've got what you like at the Ground Round.
It's time for our weekly pregame visit with the head coach of the Franklin Regional Panthers, Coach Greg Botta. And on Coach, last week we're going to talk a little bit about that and then look ahead to this week's game against Knox. But I'm going to start off looking at the stats. Brett Zanotto, 187 yards rushing, 13 carries, averaging almost 15 yards a pop. Game-high 56-yard touchdown run, which was very sensational, by the way. You put him on the other side of the ball, leads the team in defense. 10 unassisted tackles, 12 for the game. Is it safe to say that he has a big S under that jersey?
A lot of people think so, Jonathan, and thank you for having me back. You know, we knew that a lot of the season hinged around Brett and how healthy he was going to be and how he was going to perform, but you know, he's been a mainstay for us. He's the keystone of this football team, and as I tell many people, just not physically on the field, but emotionally, the players love following him. He's an anchor on defense, and you know, he loves running a football. You know, I ran 3 running backs last week, and he's on the sidelines. I think it's my turn. It's my turn. So he wants in there to run the ball as well as the other guys, and my job is to keep him as healthy as we can to get through this season.
That was a pretty electrifying 56-yard touchdown run that he had. Talk about maybe what the play was, and just as a coach and looking at the film, what did you think of it?
Well, you know, kind of what we did against Mars. It's our inside zone where our offensive line double the down guy to the next level, and our running back has to have good vision because we read a certain person on the line, and we cut off of that. And you know, what can I say about it? He has great speed, tremendous strength, and good vision, which is all the attributes a running back needs. And made a cut it back, and was off to the races. And you know, he breaks tackles along the way, but he also can run away from people, which makes him a very dangerous runner.
And how his health? Because he hurt his shoulder in the first game of the season, but now the numbers and the way he's been performing on, again, both sides of the ball, is he getting healthier?
Well, he is. And you know, we were very careful with him in the beginning. I was with a conversation with his orthopedic doctor, and he gave us insight on what we needed to do, and we did that, and we were very careful with him along the way, and I think he's probably close to 100%, but he's the type of kid too, Jonathan, that won't tell you. You know, he could be 50% and tell you he's 90 because he wants to be on the football field. He's a football player, but you know, we're gonna take it easy as much as we can with him because we have some tough games coming up in the future.
Coach Botta, offensive line, when you started the season, you had some unfamiliar names in some familiar places, so to speak. Now, when the running game has started to assert itself, those young men seem to be coming along nicely. Let's maybe talk a little bit about them.
You know, I love talking about the offensive line. First of all, my 2 line coaches, you know, Chris Capizoli, the offensive coordinator, A.J. Strum, and Mike Pipak, who I picked up this year. He's head coach at Northgate for a while. They're line coaches, and we were, you know, we knew we had 2 guys back in Jake Pickup and Charlie Mazon, who were, you know, got experience as sophomores last year, and you know, Jake Lauer's a tight end sophomore, but we had a lot of question marks on the other positions, and the depth was a big concern. And going into Knox, you know, we were very unsure about the offensive line. As a matter of fact, we had some bickering and fighting between linemen because of assignments not being fulfilled. But as the season went on, and you know, as we worked together and we meshed together in a unit, I can't be more pleased. We had every person last week grade out at 70% and above, which is a good accomplishment against a very, very good Indiana team. You know, Jake Lauer's doing a great job. We moved Todd Summers at tight end. He was 79% blocking. You know, and I can't say enough about Charlie Mazon and Jake Pickup. They are the keystones of that line because of their experience. And then Sean Beadle's turning into a man. He's 6'5", 280, and he is just exerting himself every week. And he can end up being one of the better offensive linemen we had here if he continues to improve as he has. And Nate Moore, Nate's suffering from injuries, but he doesn't want to be taken out of the game. He had 4 pancakes last week, extremely strong. He was a fullback at the beginning of the season. We needed him to guard. He was a little apprehensive about the move, but he made the move, and he said the other day, I love it down here, And then I can't say enough about my freshman center, Bryce Lauer, who's just on a tremendous job. He, too, tweaked his shoulder, didn't play last week, came back this week, and was our highest graded opposition as a freshman. So the upside for him in the future is a tremendously high, and what he's going to do in the years to come is going to be fun to watch. And then we have backups in Don Bazone, who started one game. He's a senior that filled in when we had injuries, and Nick Mitterator, he was a converted tight end we put at guard, who ended up playing for us one game also because of injuries. So those guys there are doing a great job, as well as Nicola Marion, who played against tight end against Mars. So everybody's stepping it up, and that's what we need to have at this point in the season.
Last week, prior to the Indiana game, one of your main concerns was the Stapleton brothers, 6'5", 6'4", Riley and Dylan, against your shorter corners, the tallest being at 5'10". But until the latter stages of that game, the Stapletons did not make many big plays. That's got to be a credit to the defense, and particularly the folks in the coverage responsibility.
Well, it is, and I give a lot of credit to my defense coordinator, Frank Cortazzo. He did a great job in prepping. We put a new coverage in. I think it gave Zelinski some confusion. I talked to his dad afterwards. I mentioned before we're good friends, and I said, I thought you would throw the ball a lot more. He said, Greg, he said, I couldn't. He said, the pressure you put on us took us out of our rhythm. So the timing was interrupted. The coverage was good. I can't say enough about Jordan Kessler at the corner, and we put him from safety to corner because of his size, and he just performed admirably. And then on the other side, Jake Ross, who's turned into a great corner, and we moved DJ Rigg at safety, and that was a new position for him, and he loved it. He had a couple penalties because he's overly aggressive, but he's a hitter, and that's a good position for him. So everything just came together for that game.
Now, Coach, on the unfavorable side, 8 penalties for 100 yards last week. That's the most penalty yards you've had this season. I know you and your staff still can't be satisfied.
No, I'm very, very upset about that, and I made that clear Saturday, and I made it clear all week long. The theme of this week was efficiency, and we have not been efficient. If someone told me we're playing Indiana, we're going to have 100 yards and penalties, and come away with a win, I'd be very, very apprehensive about that. But we did, and that just shows that we can rebound. But I don't know why we got to put ourselves in that position. We've been talking about this for 4 weeks now.
Yeah, I know.
And we're not getting any better at it, so I take the blame for that. And hopefully what we did this week will be advantageous to correct that mistake.
James Young made his first 2 high school varsity field goals this week. But before we ask you to talk about it, he's coming along. You brought back Walt Harris, a swinging gate last week. What inspired that move?
Well, Coach Salito's my coordinator on the special teams, and what we decided to do was throw it in there and see what we could do just to cause some confusion and have a little bit of fun with the players. Mm-hmm. We put the wall in last week on the punt, and all special team coaches want to throw something new in. Yeah. So I allowed it. The punt, we returned 50 yards, close to 50 yards on that wall that Coach Salito put in. The kids were asking for it, begging for it, and then they wanted to do the swinging gate. So we'll see where we go with it. But, it was a bad – we had an opening, but that wasn't the one they threw. So, hopefully we'll do better with it.
James Young, replacing Jake Robers, who is just playing soccer this year. He's got a Division I scholarship to Northwestern. So Young has become your field goal kicker, and he had not made one, but he hits 2 from 23 and 20 yards. That's got to make you feel a little bit better about that aspect of your game.
Well, you remember the beginning. We were struggling. We're struggling because of the line play. We're struggling with new kids kicking the football in game situations, and we've gotten better, and that's what I like to see, improvement. I can't say enough about James, and also Connor Eccles, who played wide receiver last year, but he just wanted to kick. So he's doing our kickoff, and then James is doing our field goals, and I'm very, very pleased. And both their legs are getting stronger. I think they're developing confidence, which all kickers need.
Tonight, the Yacht Cougars come down from Cougar Mountain. The first question about them is, have you ever coached against Yacht before?
No. Well, we did a couple 7-on-7s in the summer. I know Mark Krovac well. He's a good man, good coach. And, I know a little bit about them. But, one nice thing was they followed us every week. So when we were looking at our opponents, we saw York for the last 4 weeks. So we've been looking at them, and they got some players. And I know Mark's struggling right now, 0-4, but they got a handful of players that concern me. And there's just other key elements of their team missing, and as I told my staff last week, they had Hampton, they were losing 9-0 at halftime. So it shows that this team is capable of playing some football when they want to. So you're just worried about it. Are they ready to put it together for us? So we didn't take them lightly. We worked hard during the week, and hopefully we're ready to play.
Speaking of that 0-4 record, and they're only averaging, I think, 5.3 points per contest coming into the game tonight. Any concern about your team maybe looking past them? Because next week, a week from tonight, we got to go up to take on Hampton, and they've been, besides being undefeated, surprisingly good football team. None of the preseason prognosticators had them winning the Greater Allegheny Conference, where they sit atop of after the first 4 weeks.
I knew they'd be good, Jonathan. They had a lot of juniors last year, as Knock did. I was a senior-laden team. They were young. The running back, a few linemen were back. Quarterback was back. Quarterback's a man. And I knew they'd be up. They're one of my. I had Mars and Indiana at the top, and then Knock, Hampton, and then the rest of us. That's the way I put it in there. But as far as looking forward to it, past York to Hampton, that's something you don't want to do, and that's on me too. Maybe Hampton was doing that with their contest this week, and maybe that's why they were taking to 9-0 at half the time. But we can't do that. We gotta play this game. We got to get better. I got to stay healthy for Hampton. It's something else that concerns me. So we got to take care of business right away, and then if things work the way we want them to, and then get some of these kids out to rest them. Another
high school football coach resigned this week. Ron Coder from the Cannon McMillan Big Macs leaves here in the middle of the season. We feel like we're getting an epidemic now. What do you think?
Well, I don't know what's going on. I mean, leaving in the middle of the season, there has to be some major issues, and we're not privy to that yet, as you and I talked about earlier on what the heck is going on. But I know this for a fact. I've been doing this for a long, long time. We give up a lot. We sacrifice a lot. We sacrifice our wives, our family, our time, and I'm not saying that we didn't accept this role, but there comes a time you say, enough's enough, and you say that prior to the season. You don't say it during the season. And leaving during the season, there got to be issues that go beyond the sacrifice you make, and I'm not really going to comment on that until I find out exactly what is going on, but. To leave a team in the middle of the season. Heck, I was 0-9 one time, and I tried everything in the world. I took the kids down here to Duff Park and tried to do some bonding things from a psychologist who gave me some ideas, just trying to keep things together. And it's the hardest thing to do when you're losing game after game, to try to inspire your kids to keep on playing. But that's our job. That's our role. And, we got to be man enough to stick it out and hopefully, learn something even through adversity.
What are the keys tonight to continue this winning streak and make it 4 in a row for the Las Vegas Gold and Blue?
Well, number one, don't take them lightly, as you pointed out. We got to be more efficient. And that's one thing that we're going to work hard at. Not leave points on the field. We continually do that, and we're looking for our first shot out. So I know Coach Cortez is looking for that big goose egg, and we're going to do our best to try to make that happen tonight.
Coach, thanks for the visit. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Jonathan. Always thank you guys at Westmoreland Sports.
That's head coach Greg Botta, and our weekly pregame chat is part of our live video broadcast. We have it on video, and then, of course, even on our audio broadcast, we always visit with the successful mentor, Coach Greg Botta. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll have another player interview for you as part of our pregame show. You watch Franklin Regional Football live on the Westmoreland Sports Network.